When my team wins a big game, it's good. But when my team doesn't win the big game,
Tis the Too Much Dip podcast. I'm Dave. I'm ready to talk sports, man. I don't know about you guys. I could be different, though. I'm a host. We got a big show today. A real big show. Joining me in studio, none other than Dylan Shivery.
I hate it when people say, like, the blank is blanking right now because I think it's really corny, but the sports are sportsing right now.
Like them things are thangin'?
Yeah. The sports are just hot. It was an excellent weekend, a surprising excellent weekend in the college football world. But I'm ready, very ready to talk all things sports with you fellas today.
Surprising to some, not to me. I was saying this is going to be an unexpected, joyful weekend in college football. We're about to have some upsets. That's what I was saying. Randy's here producing. Hi, Randy.
Hi, David. Purdue is really bad, and 5 of their next 7 games are against ranked teams. I have no hope for them at all.
I was actually saving them for my segment later called Do These Teams Stink?
Yes. Spoiler.
Yes.
They do stink, baby. They do.
Yikes.
Hey, joining us from Madison, Wisconsin, it's KJ.
Hello, happy to be here with you fellas. Yes, shout out to Dim Badgers for, sending Purdue on its way. Who would have thought? You fire Graham Harrell, your offensive coordinator, and expect to score any points. I don't know.
They weren't scoring much points with him.
Fair.
That's former Tech great, right?
Former Tech great. Quarterback of Michael Crabtree Heisman season.
Very famous 04 Harrell to Crabtree against Texas. Anyway.
The catch.
Who are the two
big catch for
DBs there?
Best play in their program's history. I'm just kidding. I might be true. I might not. I wasn't trying to take a shot there.
I feel like it has to be.
Wasn't trying to take a shot, but it might be.
Oh, yeah, that and
Texas
then
was ranked 2
there.
at the time.
That was Blake Gideon at corner, right?
There it is, Blake Gideon.
Yes, but he wasn't the one on that play.
Oh, really?
He dropped an interception previously that would have made that play moot.
Oh, I was joking. I didn't realize he was.
It was Curtis Brown and safety by the name of Earl Thomas, who just completely whiffed on the tackle.
Can I name drop real quick?
Yeah.
I just did trap bar deadlifts next to Michael Griffin.
Yeah, he's a mainstay up at Lifetime. Still in pretty good shape.
He was doing side lunges with the barbell, but with like just 10 pounds on each side, lightweight. But I'm like, this guy played at a very, very high level. I'm very interested in what he's doing.
Yeah.
Nice guy.
A crucial interception in the national championship game against Matt Leinart. Goal line interception. Huge play.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. What's his brother doing?
Marcus?
Yeah.
Don't know.
Okay. Anyway, now that we got some niche refs out of the way, I'm ready to podcast. Hey, go to Spotify, wherever you consume this pod. Give us a rating. Give us a review. Go to youtube.com/toomuchdip. Subscribe. Follow us there. You can watch it. It's a lot of fun. Also, go to washedmedia.shop. Go check out the merch. We got some new stuff launching, or maybe something next week. Maybe something spooky launching. Check it out. And then, of course, we want to give a big shout out to our friends at Roback. Use code WASH20. Load the card up. One-time use code WASH20. Get you 20% off.
I'm wearing Rollback right now. Love this shirt. It is the most comfortable thing that I own. Sorry to any other sponsors we've used in the past. Most comfortable thing I own. There it is.
Oh, KJ.
KJ rocking it too. WASH20. Get you 20% off.
Fantastic. KJ, what do you got going on? I feel like I haven't talked to you.
I've got the Roback QZ, and I know that now that your question was not Roback directed, but I did want to shoehorn in. Do check out Roback, as they are dedicating some of their proceeds to relief efforts there in the Southeast. So hit
That's
that
right.
up. Proceeds go to a good cause. You get some good swag, just some time for holidays, football season, whatnot.
Yeah, to the folks affected by Helene.
Indeed.
Out North Carolina way. Shouts to them.
So, to your question, David, first off, I wanted to go ahead and ask the quick question. We talk about random office stuff on a pretty regular basis, it seems like. We fiddle around with AV equipment here on the show. But surprisingly, I don't think we've had any like tremendous failures. Like nobody's fallen out of their desk, fallen over. Like shit hasn't just completely broken mid-show that I'm aware of. But a short 2.5 hours ago, your boy was mid-biz meeting on camera, in the zone, PowerPoint going over here, engaging an audience over here. And I about fell out of my desk, just completely boofed it because this right here is it's the armrest of my chair. Just busted off. And I just toppled over.
Got them big old arms.
No need to speculate that the right side of this thing's getting any more work than the other. But
Come on.
it's a moment I won't soon forget.
Man, did you hold it together? Was it seamless?
No. As my desk setup is a little bit unique in that like it's ready to go for full-blown work purposes. And then you pivot and you've got like pod stuff set up, cameras, light, whatever. When I kind of fell to, a lot of the pod stuff just completely just swept off of the table and made the loudest noise. Adjacent to my desk is the router. So not only was there a big fall, full-blown internet cutoff. And so it was a good 2 minutes before I could resume myself.
Oh, no.
And I'm like on camera on my phone, just laughing it off. And all of my attendees are like, you okay? I'm like, yeah, too much to explain, but essentially my chair broke and I just ripped all the cords out the wall. No big deal.
So to them, it looked like gravity just switched and everything went off the right side of the frame and then just blackness from your screen.
I mean, they had that before I fell off camera, but like essentially to them, Terry Tate, the office linebacker, just earholed me and everything. Like Blair Witch Project-esque.
Good poll. Blair Witch Project. There's a lot.
It's even funnier that you immediately got disconnected too. So they
and couldn't just reconnect was the real fucking pressure point.
Oh man. Yeah, our studio holds together pretty well.
Kudos to Randy.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks.
Outside of like producer week and producer week part 2.
That was only just the one.
We've had some flare-ups, but nothing, just minor skirmishes.
I think we just do like the spread out the payments plan where instead of one big event, we just pay that debt in the 5 to 10 minutes of the beginning of every single too much debt. Like the 5 minutes preceding it is always led by something we have not dealt with before every single week.
We're trying out some new things.
And it works. Again.
It works.
Shouts
Looking
to
good. Not as zoomed in on your face, sadly. But yeah, there we go. Well, I'm glad you made it through. I forget that you have like a real world career and you're doing PowerPoints and things of that nature, dual monitors and whatnot.
It is, not that easy to avoid falling into just casual pod talk mid-presentation. I've avoided like any real flubs, but I do catch myself with like, all right, let's wheel ourselves around on this real quick, or just some standard thing that means nothing to nobody, but whatever.
Sometimes when I'm involved in conversations like that, I catch myself just popping open my Prize Picks app. Just peeping my Prize Picks app. Because now you can win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks. How about that? Prize Picks is the best way to get action on sports in over 30 states, including, Dylan, California, Florida, Georgia, and Texas. How about that?
Wow.
Yeah, you like that?
I
live
do
in
like
Texas.
that. I'm a Texan.
Prize Picks is the only real money daily fantasy platform with an injury insurance policy, so your lineups stay in place. Sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks is the best way to win real money this football season. Which players are going off, huh? Oh, I don't know. How about little Rico Dowdle last night?
He had himself a little game, didn't he?
Hello world, Rico Dowdle. People love it.
Maybe if you would have tuned in to Dylan's Trap House and checked out the comments, somebody would have put you on a Jalen Tolbert push for this week, and nobody believed you.
Was that
But
you?
had you hit that on Prize Picks, I absolutely leaned in.
Oh my god!
Nobody took it serious.
Called it a trap house. I love that.
Same thing. Make your picks in less than 60 seconds and turn your sports opinions into real money all season long on Prize Picks. Look, how about this week? I don't know. Look over. See Justin Jefferson for more than 83.5 receiving yards, or Patty Mahomes less than 267.5 passing yards. It's so fun. You just go on there, you go through, you're like, yeah, feeling that, not feeling that. It's just easier, man. That's what I
Find
like
which one
about it.
speaks to you. Get a little action then.
Yeah. See, you're in the bathroom. It's Mondo time. Just pop that app open. See what's up. Download the app today and use code DIP to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Use code DIP. Download the app. Use code DIP, D-I-P, to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. Run your game. Run your game, Dilly.
Say less.
I will. How about them college football games, huh?
Man.
Oh my God. Do we start with the ponies? Do we start with them pigs? Do we talk with them
Upset.
firearms? What do we want to do?
Upset Saturday.
I am so sad that I didn't get to watch more Bama Vandy. And in fact, I didn't know we had an upset warning until
Oh, buddy.
Dylan brought it to the attention of everybody at the party.
I made sure that Will was on the text exchange, so he was aware of what was happening. So he had no excuse not to know that there was a really fun game going on.
A massive upset.
Massive upset. This
Huge.
is a huge upset. Yeah. Where do we even start with this game? I don't know. What the quarterback's name? Diego Sevilla for Vandy. That dude's a player, man. You guys watch this guy play?
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm going to say with the P, Pavia or Pavia. One of the
Pavia?
with the P.
Pavia.
Oh, Diego Pavia.
He's also got a little
Pavia.
something to him.
What does that mean?
A little swaggy. After the
I
game
guess
on the mic.
I'm taking back that I was going to say zest, but I agree. Swag is the
This is
right way to put that.
one of those games. So their first series they had a nice drive and punched it in for a touchdown, and they go back out on defense, and it was kind of a wild pick six. Guy stepped in front of receiver, and the ball just deflected almost straight up in the air. Vandy DB catches it, returns it for a touchdown. They're up 14-0 just like that. This felt like one of those games because it was number one Bama and Vanderbilt, where it's like, okay, this will be a fun half for everyone. We're on upset watch, and then Bama's going to turn back into Bama and just run them down and probably win by 17 points. That's how it felt in the first half. They just kept sticking it to them, man. It was a badass performance by Vandy.
Hey, this just speaks to the depth and strength of the SEC, KJ. You did some
I'll
tweeting.
I'll save my SEC slander for later because we do have a few SEC games to refer to here. But watching this game, there were a few very clear moments that this isn't your grandfather's Alabama. But there were very basic things that Vanderbilt was doing that Alabama flat out looked bad on their coaching from a coaching standpoint. Vanderbilt was integrating a bunch of quarterback counters, some veer option type stuff. You'll see the highlight of them running a wing T type play that you might see out of an Army or Navy, where the quarterback kind of turns as you would to hand it off to the fullback on a dive to the left, but then he pivots and goes right on a quarterback option to the right. But clear as day, you've got two massive offensive linemen that are pulling from the left side of the line to the right side of the line. So if you are truly paying attention to anything, I care very, very little that the quarterback is turning and facing to the left. If they're sending 600 pounds back to the right, you're no person in the right mind's about to go run with zero linemen to the left. And you should be reading your keys. And every single defender on the Alabama defense ran to the wrong side, from defense side be the right. But little things like that made it very clear. It wasn't like trick plays. It wasn't just like one-offs. Bama either was not prepared. They did not take it seriously. They got distracted by, I have no idea. But like that shit should have faded off by the end of the game. And Vanderbilt stuck around. And that was impressive.
On that note, on the questionable coaching, there were some really, really terrible penalties in the first half. That one in particular, there were two guys on the field for Bama that had the same number on that extended a drive that they ended up scoring on. Just stupid stuff like that was going on. It was a very un-Bama-like performance. But yeah,
that it just goes to show why you don't play rap music at your practices. And I can't wait for that to be like the outcome of it, where people turn it from being like, oh, it's not just a byproduct of having pompous Alabama, not take an opponent seriously, and turn it into, well, Nick Saban would have never allowed this to happen. Like, no, he probably wouldn't have, not because he's a better coach than Kalen DeBoer, but like, because like they would have prepared differently. And I don't mean better or worse, because I think Kalen DeBoer is going to be just fine. I just think that some of these minor things wouldn't have been done the same way, but the players on the field still got embarrassed. Malachi Moore can throw a fit all he wants. He was still a part of a team that underperformed. He did as much as he could, and it wasn't enough to stop it. So it's what it is.
Did y'all catch any of Saban and Marshawn Lynch sitting next to each other on game day?
I did not.
It's great. It was. I mean, Marshawn was fine. He came out pretty hot.
So early.
Yeah, but Saban's sitting directly next to him, and he clearly had just. I mean, he's sitting there before. There's like all these photos of him just ripping a blunt, and you clearly smelled, and he was clearly just blasted, and he's just sitting next to Saban. It's just so funny. It's a juxtaposition, Tony.
I get it. Yeah.
Saban's tremendous at that job, though. Like, I don't want to jump around too much because Cal and Miami needs to be mentioned a little bit, but like that game day visual was just next level. Like the amount of intensity their fans showed up with, like it overshined like them mentioning very subtly earlier in the day that Lee Corso is having some health issues and will be back as soon as possible. Like I didn't even get a chance to like write up any maybe tweets about it because so much else was going on. But like shouts to that show for just being in the right place at the right time and picking Cal and showing up for that, because that was clearly a good decision.
Yeah, they don't always get it right when they try to do something, unique, never been done. But that was a lot of fun. Cal Miami, you want to talk about it?
Yeah.
Your boy went to bed.
I was fighting my heavy eyelids very, very late, and I crashed, I think, just after halftime. I tried to stay up. When I went to sleep, actually, I was like, all right, this game's well in hand. I'm not going to, I'm going to miss not much because Cal is up way too much for a comeback here. And, of course, that did not happen.
I watch both out of, I don't know, my habit with college football. The video game has driven how late I'm staying up to an unreasonable time. But also I kind of felt it was just comical to have to like watch Texas Tech kick off at 10 o'clock Central, 11 Eastern. And so I wanted to see like how bad or how like weird that game would get. And I hadn't watched Arizona closely. They have a wide receiver who's an absolute legit force on the field. His name is going to escape me. But Terry McMillan or not, it's like Terratota McMillan. I don't know his first name. But the guy can ball. So I was watching that more than the Cal Miami game. But as things progress, like you're like, oh shit, Miami's going to sneak back into this. Cal didn't do anything wrong. Like they kept trying to make plays. They kept being aggressive. They didn't sit on it. They didn't make a bunch of dumb penalties. Miami just started completing their drives and little by little got back into it. And then Miami knocked the ever-loving piss out of Cal's quarterback. Clear as day targeting. And not only did the player come back in the game like 2 plays later, but they didn't call it targeting. And that would have probably ended the comeback. The penalty would have, and like it would have changed a lot because the player would have been out. But Miami's got some dogs. 2 weeks in a row, games they probably could have, should have, would have lost. They came back and won. So, shouts to them for flying from fucking Miami to Berkeley back to Miami with a win.
Saw a lot of people complaining about the calls or no calls, I guess, as it were, near the end of that game. But I had no context because I was asleep. So I'm glad that you were able to weigh in on that.
1:30 Central when that was going down. Tech didn't end until like 1:45. Legitimately.
At what point do they have to tell Michael Irvin, like, hey, man,
He's going to have a heart attack.
like, dude, we love that you're involved. You're, in theory, like, you're a great representative of the university, like, to the, I mean, maybe 20 years ago, not so much.
He was on all fours on the sideline watching that game.
But dude, you're on all. What are you doing? No one's watching it. I've watched a lot of intense games. I've never gotten down on all fours to watch a game.
No.
Not even in the comfort of my living room.
I mean, sans a child on your back, like you just happen to be laying on the floor watching a game, like whatever, playing with one of your kids, and the kid gets on your back and you turn into fucking, I don't know, name a horse that doesn't sound problematic here.
Barbaro?
Barbaro, there you go. I don't know what I was going to go with.
I kind of want to know.
Like you're becoming dad who's giving horse rides or whatever to your kids. Like that's the only acceptable reason to be on all fours mid critical moment in a football game.
You ever been like behind somebody on all fours watching a game?
No, man.
Come on, dude.
So you both watch X-Files.
What are we doing?
I'm just asking the question.
Bring in the gimp.
He's got to chill. He's so goddamn sweaty too. God, I love it. I miss that guy.
Is it time to talk ponies, KJ?
It deserves a little bit of mention. Like SMU just finished off a 3-week run of TCU, Florida State, and Louisville, where like those don't seem like huge achievements now, given where those three teams kind of are at this point. Louisville's only lost to SMU and Notre Dame, so not so much them. But coming from years where they would play Baylor, A&M, Texas Tech in one season, and TCU in like one season and get run, and you turn around and you beat 3 legitimate teams like back to back to back convincingly without question. Tremendous. And the rest of their schedule, Duke and you finish up with like Pitt, is about all that you've got in your way. They're not on the level of like saying they're going to take on Clemson or Miami in the ACC title game and have like a statement to say. I don't think they're that right now, but like I'd love for them to have the chance to get embarrassed and become like the 10th team in the playoff. Like that would just be dumb.
They switched. So they got the South Oak Cliff kid. I can't remember. What's his name?
Kevin Jennings.
He looked fucking great. And that was a road win. I don't know if you know this, Dylan and I, Randy too. We've seen it. We've been there. We've been to Papa John's Stadium. We know what it's like. We know what it takes to go into Louisville and play a ball game there. They got parachuters. They got the Navy there. Just a bunch of. They got podcasters down on the field. And then podcasters.
The photo with the Cardinal was too much. I hadn't seen that before. Saturday, it was better ingredients for sure.
They told us that we couldn't go down on the field without a security escort anymore. That's a true story.
Yeah.
I get it. We were just walking around. I was wondering how long they're going to let us go. That's a great win. That's a great win. And I watched pretty much all that game. And that kid's really good. And then the one play he went out, the kid who started the season,
Preston Stone.
Yeah, comes in, throws a dime, throws a touchdown.
Yeah,
that was sick. You love to see that.
It is his fourth. That was his fourth game having played in. So I don't know if he's also going to declare like I'm redshirting and will not play the rest of the season. Like in his own interest, that would make the most sense. But if he chooses to suit up and be available as like an emergency quarterback, like that would say so much about the quarterback room and the culture of that team and him as a person and a player. That would be very, very, very impressive. As like players from Alabama this week are already declaring like, yeah, I'm redshirting. I played my 4. I'm out. I'm looking for the next bag, which is just, is what it is. You're going to get this after week 4 each year or after week 5. So yeah, that was really cool to see. We've got Arkansas. We still got to talk about, and then there's one other.
A&M Mizzou.
Yeah, let's get that out of the way.
Just a thorough ass whipping. I think people expected Mizzou to be somewhat fraudulent. They did beat a scrappy Vanderbilt team in overtime, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
But I couldn't stop watching the O-line and D-line for Missouri. They were on both sides of the ball, just getting absolutely whipped. I mean, it was ugly, ugly, ugly. Wegman played a clean game. There was a lot of talk about who was going to be starting because the kid who took over for him, Reed, I believe his name is Marcel Reed, looked pretty good.
Nah, bro.
Nah, bro. But Wegman looked good. A&M looks tough suddenly. I mean, they got their bad game out of the way early against Notre Dame, and it looks like a different team. Yeah, the defense looks tough. Yeah.
Ooh, it's lining up to be a pretty fun game.
I mean, I was already concerned about this game because it's Texas A&M for the first time in 13 years. It's in College Station, and it's the last game of the regular season. But yeah, this is going to be a dogfight.
I foresee, there's a high chance that we get a situation where, they wouldn't have a conference loss. Looking at A&M's schedule real quick, because I think that's very relevant here. Obviously, we know Texas has Georgia 2 weeks. You have Oklahoma and then Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
And, I'm going to assume at this point that Texas gets both those wins, without question. Not without question, but I'm going to assume they do.
Pigs.
But relative to A&M's schedule, A&M only has Mississippi State. They have LSU. They have South Carolina at South Carolina, New Mexico State. They have Auburn and then Texas because they've played an extra conference game already. It's more likely that that A&M shows up to that game with only the loss to Notre Dame and no conference losses than it is that Texas shows up with no conference losses.
Yeah, the second half,
and nobody would blame Texas for dropping a close game to Georgia. That would change none of my opinion. So I can't imagine that.
Yeah, the second half of Texas' schedule before the season started looked like it was going to be a cakewalk because we have Kentucky, Vanderbilt, Arkansas, and Texas A&M.
Oh, geez, I forgot about
But
those
now
two.
it's okay, these are all pretty tough outs, pretty tough teams. And Texas has to travel for a few of those as well. So, yeah, it suddenly looks like it's a gauntlet down the stretch here, but it's going to be a lot of fun. But I mean, if Texas finishes this season undefeated, and I don't think that's going to happen, it's going to be quite an accomplishment.
I think it really goes to show how quick we were, and not just us. I don't think it's an us thing, but A&M lost to Notre Dame by 8. It was an ugly game. Neither team looked good, and they lost by 8. And I think they added points at the end to make it that close. But they were written off as if they were the team that lost to Vanderbilt. You know what I mean? And Notre Dame was highly ranked at the time. And I think it was because Notre Dame turned around and lost to Northern Illinois that people just wrote off A&M. They're like, oh, they have a quarterback, they have it figured out. But me included in that bucket, but shit. I don't want to be here talking positively about A&M.
I know, it feels weird, doesn't it?
I would rather Colorado keep their wins going than having to fucking positively discuss A&M late in the season. I'm not emotionally ready for that. I don't know enough Colorado people to be bothered by that.
There was one upset that we did predict, or at least one of us. The Volunteers, man.
Mm-hmm.
The Volunteers thought they were going to just roll in. They thought they were just going to roll into Fayetteville at night, take down them pigs. No, didn't happen. They couldn't really get anything going. Shout out to Arkansas. They looked good. Their defense looked stout. That was a good football game. And all in all, I figured they were going to. I figured Arkansas was good enough, having watched them for 3 weeks. They're good enough to pick off one of these better teams, and they did. And of course, that's the perfect scenario for it: at home, at night. And there you go. You have it. That's just, hey man, that's the SEC, dude. That just speaks
you
to
shut up?
how deep it is and the strength. KJ, you get it.
I'm struggling here. Like A&M's or Arkansas's defense, most points scored in them has been the Oklahoma State game that went to overtime, and Oklahoma State scored really late in that game to get to overtime, and they put up 39. Other than that, UAB put up 27. They've held Auburn to 14, Tennessee to 14, and A&M beat them, but they put up 21. That's a respectable defense that Arkansas has going there, especially in a world where like we all were kind of, not we all, but like a lot of the attention was being paid to Bobby Petrino in that offense early in the year. So I'm not predicting anything great for them as they still have LSU, Ole Miss, Texas, and whatever you want to think of Missouri on their schedule. But Jaquin and Jackson, I don't think any of us 5.5 years ago or whatever, 4 years ago, would have foresaw him being a running back at a program. Mike Roach, good friend, did tell us multiple times, this kid does not want to be a quarterback in college. Told us that directly. Like he wanted to play safety. He didn't like the attention, didn't like the pressure not pressure, but like that wasn't who he saw himself as a player. I don't think running back was ever mentioned at the time.
Right. I don't know. You heard that Tom Herman, who recruited him to Texas, wanted to move him. I think Alabama wanted to move him to safety. One of the big programs wanted to move him to safety. It might have been Herman. I don't know. And that's how he ended up at Utah. But
I think you want to move him to running back.
really? Is that
Yeah.
what it was? That's man, I'd love to have seen that. Then you had Bijan, JJ, Jaquin Jackson backfield. That's pretty nasty.
Pretty dirty.
I think that lines up. I gotta say, Arkansas should be like a one-loss team because the Oklahoma State game they absolutely they gave it away 3 different times, and like Oklahoma State is not good. They've been proven fraudulent, and they should be a one-loss team, and that one loss being A&M, which is
4-point neutral field.
Yeah,
Neutral
and
site
like
to A&M.
you start thinking about it, you're like, oh man, that could be. And then you're looking ahead, like you just named off those teams that they've got coming up. Yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. They got to stay healthy though. I think the problem is, and they mixed in that freshman running back a little bit in the 4th, and he had some success, but they kind of when they really rely on Jackson, like Jaquin Jackson, like he can get pretty dinged up because he runs very aggressively and he does not shy away from contact.
And he's tall. Like that's a lot of surface area. He's not a Derrick Henry body type, and he's 6'2", playing running back. So it's a lot. It's McFadden without the speed. Not even to go Arkansas tie, but that type of height. Before we move on, I think SEC does deserve a little bit more talk in regards to how the games ended and what happened after the fact. I don't know who they played. Oh, it was Kansas. 1-4 Kansas played at Illinois and became 1-5 Kansas, and Illinois rushed the field.
Oh no.
You just can't
Come
do that.
on.
But I think we can all agree that rushing the field against Tennessee at home, if you're Arkansas, when Tennessee was top 5, is deserved. And it was impressive because the juxtaposition, if you will, less than an hour before that, you saw the difference that having 90,000 students or whatever, fans that are there for your team rushing the field fills up real quick versus in Nashville where 45, 60% of the tickets were for Bama fans and you have a small enrollment already and a very loosely interested fan base in Vanderbilt, and they rush the field and you're like, okay, is this thing going to fill up anymore? Not at all. But they helped themselves out with the DJ dropping the Nick Saban line. Like that vibe was just as exciting as anything, even though there were very few people. Like they couldn't fill up 50 to 100 to 100 or whatever. Goal line to goal line.
Yeah, I guess they got the goalpost out of the river. Were they able
3
to,
miles away though. That's a fucking achievement.
who's leading that?
Oh my god.
Who's in charge?
How did they get him out
The
of the
police,
ground?
basically. They bent it back and forth, rocking that bitch
Oh.
until it pinches off.
That's
Yeah.
incredible.
Yep.
Wow. I have a real quick note on Texas OU. The line in this game is a whopping 14.5 points, which really surprises me. Of the last 8 times these teams have played, 7 of them were one-score games. Of course, we had 49-0 2 years ago. That was the exception. So this game is always close. Doesn't matter who's good and who's not. So that's a huge spread. The anxiety for this game has already started for me. Usually Monday it starts, and it's going to slowly pick up as the week progresses. But yeah, it's Texas OU week, and I'm very, very excited, cautiously optimistic. But man, I would not touch that line in Texas' favor.
That's saying something.
I think I mentioned this a few weeks ago. Kickoff this year for the first time in a long while. It's always, I don't know, I just did a Trump hand there.
2:30.
It's 2:30.
I hate that. That ruins. I had a Saturday.
It's
planned
usually an
around
11
this.
o'clock kick.
That's so
Never a night game.
What are they doing?
Yeah, never a night game. Yeah, that's for security reasons. I agree with that. I don't think I want night
No.
Texas OU.
You ever been in the West End at night after Texas OU? Don't do it.
I'm not trying to get out of Fair Park in the evenings and wait on my lift. Hop on that dart going the wrong way. But yeah, 2:30 weather here in Madison, Wisconsin. It'll be a sweet low of 45, high of 69. Quite a nice, beautiful, clear,
God, that's
sunny
perfect.
fall day. Dallas, Texas, 93 degrees,
Oh,
32%
no.
humidity. That shit's gonna be toasting. And in the Cotton Bowl, that is an old
Man.
ass stadium with a lot of concrete, and people are gonna
on.
have 4 more
See,
hours to prep for it.
They move it. They move the time first, and the next thing you know, they're going to try to move it to AT&T. This is how it starts,
my
dude.
God.
They're going to ruin it.
That would absolutely ruin
They're going to
this.
say this is SEC now. We do not play at the Cotton Bowl. What is this 200-year-old stadium? Get out of here.
You're
That would be a
absolutely
damn
wrong.
shame.
It will go to Frisco before it goes to
Oh,
It'll be at like Frisco North Liberty High School field or some bullshit. McKinney, Lovejoy or whatever, before it goes to
yuck.
Cowboys Stadium. But
That
I don't know what the over-under is for that game. It's not as if these teams aren't going to be used to the heat per se,
54-ish, I think.
but I'm going to go all in and like some cramping and some absolute weird shit going on in that game. Fights, people are going to be like, nobody needs to be in like 95-degree weather the second week of October. Doesn't need to happen.
This I feel like they're good for one every 6 or 7 years. That's like people are just like dropping out. They're dropping like flies. Sunburn's coming back. Your buddy's coming back. Meet you at the bar afterward. He's just disgusting, covered in it, dry sweat on his PFG. Ugh.
6 p.m. Katie Trail's going to be rank.
Barley House just smells like the Barley House. Just all of it, man. Hey guys, real quick, I wanted to just give a shout out to our good friends BetterHelp. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Kids are always learning and growing. We got kids. You see them learning, see them growing. But as adults, we sometimes lose that curiosity. What's something new you'd like to learn, Dylan? Maybe gardening? You got a green thumb?
Ooh, I don't really have a zest for gardening, actually.
Oh, I'm sorry. You should learn. All right.
Something else. Something else.
Another language.
Yeah. Espanol.
Well, therapy can help you reconnect with your sense of wonder because your back to school era can come at any age. Look, we all support therapy here. We've talked about it before. It's benefited us mightily. If you're thinking about starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. You just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist, and you can even switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. Rediscover your curiosity with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/muchdip today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/muchdip. You guys want to talk about guns?
Yeah. I absolutely want to talk about guns.
Much dip.
The absolute epidemic that is gun celebrations in college football has been so much fun to watch, and it's a shame that they're cracking down on it with the 15-yard penalties because they're just hilarious. And I guess you kind of have to when you're promoting gun violence in that way, in such a public way. But my gosh, that has been fun.
This season, it started like first game of the year, right? LSU.
Well, the thing that changed this year is that before there were gun celebrations. Like even last year, people were doing the I don't know what it's called. There's this thing, and then there's like the get the gat. The difference this year is that the guns are now being pointed at the opposing team, and specifically their heads, and they're just dropping dudes left and right with their finger guns.
I get why that is a problem. Can I be old man?
Yeah,
I get why you shouldn't point your fake gun at the opponent and put an extendo clip into him.
yeah.
As the guy from South Carolina did to Jackson Dart, which, by the way, Jackson Dart responded on Twitter. He quote tweeted the video, and he just said, "How the fuck you miss a whole 100 shots?" It's a Dolph, rest in peace. It's a Dolph lyric from 100 Shots.
That's pretty good.
And it went off.
That same guy, Dylan Stewart, after he unloaded his clip into Jackson Dart's lifeless body on the turf, he went. I don't know if this is before or after the play, but he also shot a few of his teammates on the sideline with just a pistol. He was just
sounds to me like this kid didn't deserve to have a firearm.
This single shot, he was just loading one every time, and you're just like,
why was he doing that?
pop, and the guys were like, oh, like you do when your kid shoots you with a Nerf gun or something. It was hilarious.
I mean, it's.
We got one
What are we
sent to
gonna
us. Smaller school. I want to say somewhere here in the Midwest where their player and DB makes a play. Does what I call the samurai sword move, but of course, as Dylan quickly correct me, it's I've got him strapped up, buckled seatbelt move.
Yeah.
Followed immediately by full rifle to the face. To which the ref was like walking just nonchalantly towards the player before the celebration began. And just kind of just tosses the flag casually in the air, like, what are you fucking doing?
We had probably my favorite one, and only because of the way the ref thoroughly explained what was going on. And Randy, if you can pull the clip up, I know we played it on Circling Back, but this is a different audience. It's a Minnesota USC game, and someone from Minnesota, I presume a defensive back because they're the ones who do this. I don't know. He didn't even pull a gun out. He just pulled his shirt up to show his waistlines. Like, yeah,
I got thing.
I got one. Anyway, Randy's going to play the clip.
Also, for context, this is on the final drive of the game. USC's driving to try to tie the game with like 45 seconds left. And this kid gets a fucking personal foul.
Yeah, luckily for him, it didn't cost his team the game. Minnesota did win.
That would be the funniest way to lose a game.
All right, here we go. Randy's going to play it.
Because you just pulled your shirt up to show him that you had it on you.
Unsportsmanlike conduct, defense for simulating brandishing a weapon. 15-yard penalty, first down.
Not to say that USC is full of bugs.
You could read his lips.
They're going to show the clip.
Wow.
They have a replay of the penalty.
Let's see.
He just shows everyone his invisible tool in his waistband.
How many people watching that made that connection, and how many people are like, "Oh, we get it. You work out, dude, showing off his abs." I bet it's a pretty good number on the people who thought he was just showing off his six.
Not everyone caught the ref there for sure.
We had one in the NFL. Drake London got popped for this, no pun intended. And he caught a touchdown, but he did the move where, I don't know if he threw the ball up, but you'll also see people just kind of spray the sky a little bit instead of, as we've pointed out, there's been a lot of directed towards the other player. But he essentially pulled just firing an AK into the air. And then that forced Raheem Morris completely go defend him without context. Of no. He was trying to motion as if he was trying to throw money into the air, making it rain. And it was very clear that he was just shaking his hands to show that the rifle, the kickback motion of the gun. And I'm like,
yeah, they're carrying fully autos.
Buddy, not worth it.
It's so funny.
I mean, I don't know want somebody to get like real creative. I want somebody to wait for the ref to like after he already flags him, he tosses the flag in the air and like to just like
Shoot it out of the sky.
yeah, like you're shooting you're skeet shooting.
Pull.
Yeah, that would be incredible. But then you'd probably get another 15 on top of
Okay.
it, an ejection as well.
Could you pull a bow back?
Ooh,
Because that's one you see mainly like I feel like it's a big player in MMA.
that's a Brandon Cooks, celebration.
Brandon Cooks, yeah. Like
Yep.
what's the archer?
Yeah.
Like Randy, this got you interested.
Yeah, I like if I was like a linebacker and made a big hit and the guy's just laid out there, I like to pull a sword out and just like over his dead body. Like
So you're gonna decapitate
yeah,
him.
exactly. Execute him.
You're just Naruto running back towards the sideline, past their sideline with your blade back, just across the neck, just ninja gating.
That would be so cocky.
God, it's a violent game.
Flag gets thrown. You've got to seppuku yourself at midfield.
Okay.
Oh yeah, you fumble and you just imagine getting a flag on top of you fumbling.
Well, you wanted to ban the guns. You said it was a gun problem.
Yeah.
Instead of doing like dropping and doing push-ups when you drop an interception, you pull it out and you just wave goodbye. Just and you just take the guts out. Oh my
If we
God.
get like a Game of Thrones guillotine, like execution of another player, like getting off of a pile up on the goal line, it would be my screensaver on my phone for at least a good month. And
That's
a half.
so
Like,
like, how would they even do that?
you've got to find somebody. As soon as they're getting off the ground, you got to run over there. Somebody's going to be on the other side, and you're just off with the head.
Well, you know, other teams,
I need it.
you know, like SMU does club turnover or whatever, where like they on the sidelines will actually like pop bottles. They should have like a fake guillotine on the side. If somebody like when somebody screws up, it's like they go over there and they get their head fake cut off.
Oh my God.
Well, Army's undefeated this year, and I think if anybody can get away with this, you skip the guillotine. You just go straight to target practice, but you've got like a spotter you're laying down, prone with down range with a sniper down the sideline.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I need. Some thought behind this is all I'm saying.
That'd be a good celebration with like the field goal kicker and like the holder of that. If he like it's a major field goal.
Dude, SMU's kicker is kind of swaggy, man.
Yeah, Collins got some swag. He's second in the nation, I want to say, behind Florida State in terms of like field goals hit over 50 and just overall production. But hey, it's the one he didn't make against BYU that's holding us back.
BYU's a good team.
Anywho.
BYU's a good team.
Undefeated.
Yeah,
Undefeated.
that's not a bad loss. Anything else in college you want to talk about? We go right to.
We've got an absolute banger week coming up. I think we just save it for next week. But we've got obviously Texas OU. You've got Georgia Bama, right?
Is that this week?
I believe so. And you've got no.
They played
You have
already.
Oregon, Ohio State.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Obviously, Georgia Bama's played. Oregon, Ohio State is what was on my mind, not Georgia Bama. I'm thinking about that rivalry image we put up the other day or earlier. But yeah, Oregon, Ohio State, Texas OU this weekend. And I think there's one other pretty big game. So yeah, we'll get to it next week. We got enough college to go around.
Oh, Bama Auburn's not till November. Okay. All right. I'm screwed up with the schedule. Yeah, here's the reason why I'm operating at a very, very low state right now. We had late night NFL action last night. Did anybody else stay up and watch this?
Didn't catch all of it. Caught most of it.
Tough scene. Well,
Why was it delayed?
it's weather.
Okay.
Pretty gnarly storm rolled through and delayed it. It was from all accounts, it was like 30 minutes was kind of what you were thinking. It ended up being an hour and 20. It was enough for me to fit in an episode of Lost. So yeah, that's how I spent my Sunday night. It was real dope.
114 left to go.
Yeah. Oh, actually, KJ, I'm in the final season, buddy. I got like 5 left. I'm getting there. We could just start there because it's on my mind. I'm absolutely fried. Yeah, having a game end at midnight, it's miserable, and then your kid wakes up at 5:45. Cowboys running the ball. How about that? Something you never thought you'd see. And also Cowboys shutting down the run. What's going on? Pittsburgh is Pittsburgh. Justin Fields looked bad. Dak looked bad. He looked great at times. He looked really bad at times. That pick with CD was just – I thought that was the season right there. You have CD – we're trying to read his lips. I don't know if you saw that. Chris Collinsworth is alluding to some dissension on the sideline. It looked really, really bad.
I don't know that interaction looks so bad.
CD's face and the fact that Dak didn't look up.
But it could have been, well, yeah.
But
it could have been like.
I think he was saying jump ball. Like,
Yeah.
just throw it up. That's what the consensus was. I don't know if John Boy's gotten a hold of that yet. But
And if that's what he's saying, then that's not like.
no.
That's not terrible.
I don't know what Dak saw, like what he was doing there. I didn't stay up for the post game comments, but it was an inexcusable. It was horrible. I mean, it's one of the worst interceptions you'll see from a guy who's makes $60 million a year.
He's good for a couple boneheaded plays a game.
That was egregious.
It was bad.
But
Not a whole lot of offense in that first half. I believe it was 6-3 at halftime.
6-3 or 9-6. It was all field goals for sure.
Yeah.
Then they go down and win it. 20 seconds left. Fourth down.
Win's a win, Dave.
Win's a win.
I'm trying to not come off as too much of a hater here. TJ Watt's very good. Can we all agree on that? Like,
Oh, yeah.
it was a sloppy game. There were a couple of them where it's like, okay, yeah, you're going to give that sack up to anybody. But TJ Watt and Micah Parsons drafted in the same draft, correct? I believe so. It doesn't matter. But I believe they've always been kind of compared in terms of their productivity. And TJ Watt just hit 100 sacks, went over that.
Are we sure about that? 2021
believe
draft.
I believe so. Might be wrong. Might be off by a year. But either way, he plays with like a disruptive force that you see from Micah in big moments and big games. But you don't necessarily see it like once a series. Like Myles Garrett is another similar person where like Aaron Donald level, like every series you're going to see this player impact how that other team plays. And I think maybe because Cowboys also have DeMarcus Lawrence or because they have, other players around, you don't see it as much for Micah. But having to game plan around that dude led to some of the Cowboys' success. You saw a couple screens, like tight end screens or fullback screen to somebody I've never even seen on the Cowboys roster.
Lemke?
Lute or Lemke, somebody. Don't know.
He's been good all year. Yeah, he's been kind of shockingly good.
Sure. Household name.
He's
Lumpke
not. If you've
from
watched the
the
Cowboys, he's you know that they've weirdly been using him, and he's a good player.
Okay.
Also,
whatever.
TJ Watt, 2017.
Okay, way more years.
Yeah, he's
I'm way
29.
off. I'm sorry. Yeah, 4 years separation. I'm way off there. But either way, they played their entire game avoiding having to deal with him. I don't think missing Brandon Cooks like changed the trajectory of that game as much as like having TJ Watt on the other side of the field did. And it was impressive to see them like figure out ways late in the game successfully to do that. The turnovers kept this from being a big like landslide of a game. But if you're a Steelers fan, like approach this if you're a Steelers fan, do you come out of this being like, oh man, one play and we would have had them? Because they had a couple successful plays offensively to where you're like, oh, Justin Fields got the job done. If Jalen Tolbert doesn't catch that, do you feel like you came out of like, Fields managed it, we survived?
It's a weird game because on paper, like Cowboys moved the ball way better, got the ball in the red zone way more, didn't convert. And either team, like you lose that game and you're feeling like, oh my God, like you feel terrible about it. I feel like Steelers, their offense it was just not good. And I don't know. I feel like that they're probably asking like, are we going to give Russ a shot now? Like, because Fields was bad.
I spent 15 minutes explaining to Nicole how absurd it was that Russell Wilson was suited up. And then I was like, well, maybe he's their emergency quarterback, only to then find out, no, Kyle Allen is ready to go whenever they needed him to.
They did say in the broadcast that
Yeah.
Wilson was their emergency backup.
Okay, so but still,
Kyle Allen came in, looked
would have
good.
had to go down.
Kyle Allen
he
comes
would have
in,
also
he
had
do-
been
he do a
injured
nice
too.
ball.
U of H? Where was he?
Oh, high school or what'd you say?
U of H.
Yeah. Houston for he went to A&M
Yeah,
and then
A&M.
to Houston.
And then Houston. Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
He's out of Arizona though, high school wise.
No, I as like a Cowboy fan who's like has very low expectations for the team. I'm like, that's a good win. I mean, Pittsburgh's 3-1. I don't think they're gonna do anything. They're not gonna make any noise. But like, your weird makeshift offensive line where you've got dudes dropping and you're losing players and you got guys who haven't played. TJ Watt's a fucking game wrecker, like you said, and you went and won on the road. So there you go. And you ran the ball, which is cool.
Would
to
you
see.
trade coaches?
Yes,
Because I feel
heartbeat.
like Steelers fans feel like Cowboys fans feel about McCarthy, even though McCarthy's only been here for 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
But like combine Garrett and McCarthy. And I feel like Cowboys fans and Steelers fans feel similar about their experience. But from the outside looking in, I feel like a lot of Steelers fans will be like, yeah, we take McCarthy. I don't know.
I would take Mike Tomlin, but he's not like a guy who I would think could come in and fix it in like a year. He's like it would never work in Dallas because he's like an established a culture guy, I can't imagine a scenario where he works for Jerry Jones. I just can't. He's one of those guys.
A press conference would be hell. That would just be
that would be
hell.
cruel. That would be so cruel for Mike Tomlin. So no, but I mean, yeah, I would love to, but
Yeah, I
it
would
would
too.
never work.
I would too, for sure.
Yeah.
I'd
When
take
do the
almost-
Cowboys play the Commies?
Is that what you call the Commanders?
Are we doing
now?
commies now?
I don't know if we're doing
Have we not been
commies.
common? Commodores?
I feel like we don't.
Commanders?
I feel like we catch them after the bye,
Damn, it is a while.
which is
Niners,
really
Lions
nice.
next.
Yeah, Niners Lions, which obviously is not great. Although Niners kind of coughed one up yesterday. Shout out to Kyler.
Let me fix that real quick. I'm sorry. You got Lions, bye week, then Lions. I'm sorry. Lions, bye week, then Niners.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot read.
There we go.
You
Falcons,
don't play the
Eagles.
Commanders until after Thanksgiving or on Thanksgiving. This is insane. Sorry, my mind's being blown. I've been like looking forward to seeing Jaden Daniels in the Cowboys, and it's not happening until Thanksgiving.
Yeah. You got to hope you got Micah back by then. I think you will. But I don't know. Thoughts, anything else that went down yesterday? Bills, Josh Allen looked pretty terrible. CJ Stroud didn't look good either. He also tried to kind of give that game away. But shout out to the Texans. They found a way to do it. That was weird. I don't know if you watched that end.
Yeah, that side-eye interaction with Diggs and Josh Allen after the game. I don't know if you caught that. Pretty funny.
They both say the right things, unless I missed something. I'm wondering, like,
It felt a little icy.
yeah. I don't know who's knowing what I know about Diggs now that he's just gonna I know what he's into in his private life behind closed doors, and that shouldn't
What
have.
is he into?
Very, very pregnant women. Allegedly. Extremely high profile pregnant women. Like very, very pregnant women. Maybe. I don't know.
Does that offset any field production for him?
What you just did there is impressive.
Bengals Ravens is the only other game of note.
Yeah. Shout out to Jamar. Went off. Took the
Derrick
L.
Henry, good at football. Really good at football.
The ageless. Yes, he is.
Insane that he could have been a Cowboy. Insane.
Couldn't afford him. Can't have a mansion if can't pay for it.
Oh my God. Yeah, dude. The Ravens is that 4 in a row for them?
3-2 Ravens.
3-2? Okay.
They dropped games to the Raiders
Oh.
and opening night to the Chiefs.
Okay. That Raiders one's interesting. Yeah, dude. Lamar's awesome. We'll be seeing that play where he botched the snap, dropped the snap, then runs around. I mean, it's just quintessential Lamar Jackson play. Really fun.
One last NFL comment or question for you fellas. If I was a head coach and I described that my quarterback had a little bit of Ferris Bueller in them, we're going to have to work on that. What would you think I was referring to? What the hell does that even mean?
I saw this today.
Elusive? Sneaky?
Plays by his own rules, maybe. Doesn't show up to class.
Tiny white guy.
Tiny white guy with sneaky pipes.
Yes.
I don't know.
And also just kind of an asshole when you really look at it. You're like, this guy's fucking annoying.
Yeah.
Makes it all about
Tiny white
himself.
guy and sneaky pipe.
Do we get to the bottom of it? What was intended by the comment?
I don't know, but Sean Payton said it about Bo Nix. Bo Nix's response was like, yeah, I guess I've seen the movie. It's kind of old.
They don't like each other. I don't know if he followed any of that
I
sideline.
mean, it's Sean
interaction.
Payton. Like, who does like him?
He's
I think that Sean Payton followed it up or brought more clarity to it than I would expect. He did say that Bo Nix flipped the play. He ran the play that was called, but he flipped it. And I guess that impacted the outcome. It was a pivotal, like 3rd down or 4th down, whatever. But you're the Broncos. You're working out of it. They won by 16, so I'm sure this isn't, anything that's going to make too many waves, but it is what it is. Also, Jordan Love's back and got a dub, so.
Didn't play great, but he got a dub.
He did.
One very boneheaded play in the end zone.
Hey, we got to give a shout out to Thursday Night Football. Old Falcons Bucks. That was a fucking banger. Kirk Cousins.
Yes.
Kirk Cousins, who I was week 1, I was like, well, this guy's done. This guy clearly can't move around. He is done.
500 yards.
Insane game.
Like, not that the Bucks are revered as like the best team out there. They're a very competent team.
Yeah.
Like, Baker has made himself at home. It's working out for him. Mike Evans obviously is like Hall of Fame quality, so it's easy to have that kind of stuff happen. But Todd Bowles is a very good defensive coach. You're not breaking off 500 yards on a Todd Bowles defense. I don't care what he's rolling out there. Even when he was with the Cardinals, like, they were playing competent defense. So yeah, Kirk Cousins, the truth, like, without question, is doing it.
Leading the swag surf. Which you'd love to see. You'd love to see Kirk Cousins leading the swag surf. We're over swag surfed. I'm going to say it. You got Louisville, who I love. They're near to my heart, but they're doing it after every time they score, whether it's field goal or not. I feel like swag surf is a once a game thing.
This happened in Minnesota too. His teammates are like, "Look, we got this like nerdy white guy quarterback, right? It'd be hilarious if we made him do all this shit. Let's just dress him in gold chains on the jet. We'll get him swag surfing. It's gonna be so fucking funny." And then he just goes along with it. He's like, "Oh, sure."
Oh, I like Kirk Cousins, but Jesus, dude.
I want his career to be over at some point, and we find out like Bob Saget to vulgarity is Kirk Cousins to thug life. Like, you got signs of it throughout the career, but then you find out like, no, he was truly about that life. Like, everything else was just a full-blown front, and Kirk was really in them streets.
He was just
That's what I want to see.
He robbed a random liquor store.
I just don't think he's in them streets, man.
You don't know if he's in them streets.
Talking about Kirk Cochains.
I just don't think so.
That's what we're talking about, Randy. God. I need him to bust one out. I need him next time he puts 6 on the board to just pull them things out and just start popping them.
Pull full-blown Desperado
spray
or
a
some
block.
bullshit. Just bam.
Hey, I've got a new sponsor alert.
New sponsor alert.
Have you heard that the flavored air category is quickly becoming the leading alternative to vaping and smoking? It's a whole new movement toward better habits led by the sponsor of today's pod, Fume. That's F-U-M. Fume is an award-winning flavored air device. Flavored air isn't like vaping. If vapor was compared to sticky soda, Fume cores are closer to herbal teas. I like that quite a bit. Fume has lots of delicious flavors to choose from, like crisp mint and orange vanilla. I do like the orange vanilla. Big fan. With flavored air, you can satisfy your oral fixation through a passive diffusion system that utilizes no electronics, vapor, or combustion. Fume draws flavor to your mouth. Fume fills the void ditching a bad habit can leave. You still have something to reach for, and Fume is not a vape. No vapor, no nicotine, non-toxic flavors, no batteries, and it looks awesome.
Yeah, they look cool. Let me interject you. It feels like it's like an old-timey pipe feel to it, you know?
Yeah, and you can fidget with it.
Yeah.
It's good. I mean, I don't know if you're sitting there in your desk and you're going through your PowerPoint presentation, KJ or Randy, you're doing whatever it is you do at your desk. You could calm your anxiety. You got the little fidget and magnets and snaps and clicks. Fume continuously invest in third-party studies to ensure the safety of their products, which you love to see. Fume is also backed by doctors in the United States. Like I said, I like the orange vanilla. That's the one I've tried. I've got to get that crisp mint next. I'm a big fan. And, you know, I just noticed I like having it in my hand. I like how the magnet, it sits right there on the stand. I just like having it sitting there on my desk. Fume has served over 300,000 customers, and you can be the next success story. For a limited time, use our code TMD to get a free gift with your journey pack. Head to tryfume.com. That's tryfum.com and use code TMD or scan the QR code on the screen to get a free gift with your order today. Check it out. Tryfume.com. Use code TMD. Baseball time.
I haven't caught a ton of the MLB playoffs, but I did catch quite a bit of Phillies Mets yesterday, and it was an absolute banger of a baseball game.
I think we can all agree that we're looking for bangers at this point.
It was an absolute banger of a game. We had the Phillies scored the majority of their home runs off of home runs. First one, Bryce Harper just hit a fucking – he pissed on one to center field.
He's trying to do his best Brent Roker impression.
He is. Nick Castellanos, we had a discussion if it's Llanos or Llanos before the episode. I'm not quite sure. I'm going to say Llanos because I'm going to stick with the double L Spanish sound. Nick Castellanos, he was up early in the game, and I guess he swung at a couple of really bad pitches, and then he took a ball, and he got some sarcastic. Game was in Philly. He plays for Philly, obviously, and some sarcastic cheers, and he was seen mouthing these fucking people while he was at the plate. Anyway, he would go on to hit a game-tying home run in the 6th inning. He singled and scored the go-ahead run in the 8th, and then hit a walk-off single in the 9th.
Pretty gnarly.
Quite a ball game.
Pretty gnarly.
Yeah.
I have to say.
That even the series at 1, by the way.
Yeah, having the Mets Phillies right there, having that geographical rivalry, and then on the other side, you get Padres Dodgers.
Yeah.
This is fun. And I'm a guy watching with really no rooting interest, although I am sneaky pulling for the Tigers.
So
I'm trying to get Will back into baseball.
San Diego, LA also tied at 1. We have 2 game 2s today. One of them I think may have already started, actually. It is Cleveland and Detroit. Then the evening game, we have KC, New York.
We got to even it up. We got to even it. Our Tiger, they got smoked the other night. Randy, can we get the Profar video? I don't know if you guys saw this. You probably did. It was everywhere. But Profar, Jerks and Profar, former Ranger great, the next big thing, the guy who's going to save baseball in Texas. Didn't pan out. I don't think it's all his fault. I think they kind of just didn't really know what to do. Brought him up, sent him back down, just moved. It was just
having
weird.
a really strong season.
But he's found a home in San Diego.
It's because they had Kinsler and Elvis is what the issue was. He didn't, and he was playing short and second.
I can't remember, but that was definitely that makes
All right,
sense.
It was
that
doesn't
era.
matter, but I feel like it was because
He was
they
the
were pretty
consensus
solid
number 1 prospect in baseball. But anyway, let's this is from yesterday, and Padres went on to win this game handily, but Mookie Betts puts one out, or does he? Oh, he's rounding the bases.
Incredible.
Oh my God.
That's incredible.
That is such a fucking shit move. I love it. So Profar, he robs it. You know, it was a really good, he reached into the stands. It's a good catch. It's a really good catch. But he just stays facing the fans, and Mookie Betts has no idea. fireworks going off. He's rounding the bases. And Profar waits like 8 seconds before he turns around and you realize he's got the ball.
The only other player I've seen do this, Julio Rodriguez did this. I want to say last season. It could have been this season. He robbed a home run in center field, but it was unclear if he caught it because his glove was over the fence. He catches it, and then he kind of like nonchalantly starts walking back to his center field position and then shows the ball. It was sick. It was very well played. To do it in a playoff game like this is unbelievable.
Game not in hand, by the way. This isn't the first, I think.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Correct.
I love this move so much. It takes a lot of balls to pull off, but absolutely hilarious and well played.
I got to say, if batters get to pimp home runs and do all that, I have no issue with an outfielder doing that at all.
If you're the pitcher, though, you're like, come on, man. Did you catch it or not?
Yeah. Yeah.
And to see Betts he was like almost a third base when he realized that he was out.
That's so funny.
So there was an extra element to this story that later on in the game, the guy who he snatches the ball out of, depending on the angle that you've seen, like John Boy has a close-up one of this too, where you can see the fan who's right there and Profar takes out his hand and he's like bewildered. He got his mind freaked for sure. And then his wife kind of sees it and realizes what happened. She's like, damn, he really did you on that one. So they had a direct interaction. Profar staring him down. Later on, I think they have a situation where Profar will do the whole toss a ball to a fan and then play catch with the fan. Did that, and the fan just chucked the ball like into the field past Profar, like complete dick about it. And like caused this whole stir. And I don't know if that happened the game before or after this home run, but for it to be the same guy, like he definitely had internet main character going that day for him.
Dodgers fans they don't seem like a real fun bunch. I got to say, based on everything yesterday, throwing shit on the field, it's not good.
I will take this over our history of when we have two California teams playing in the playoffs by miles. Because usually it's a lot more violent than this.
This is fair. This
That
is
an
very
11-minute
fair.
delay from the shit get thrown on the field, like that's
Yeah, and
ridiculous.
This sucks because like on one hand, I just want to see Ohtani as much as I possibly can. I said this earlier. I was
Mookie
like,
Betts.
Ohtani in the World Series. I like Mookie Betts, but I also don't like I like the Padres. I like Profar. I like Yu Darvish. I don't know.
Yu Darvish needs a ring. And they're fun to watch. Fernando Tatis. Like, they've got more exciting people to watch. And then you got history. Yeah.
So there
Sucks
you
to
go.
have to see one of these teams go home, but we'll be dialed in.
Darvish looked great. I'm happy for him. Anything else? Any other notes? Okay. Let's run it
believe
back.
so.
Get on now.
We have a short one today. Of course, run it back as a segment during which we talk about what we already talked about. Purdue is stinky. Sorry,
Yeah.
Randy.
No.
We got some niche refs off out of the way early. KJ toppled over before recording as he was seen holding the arm to his chair. And finally, not sure if we're doing commies for the Commanders. And that
Maybe the
concludes Run It Back.
Commodores?
You look so proud of yourself when you said commies, like you were doing something like groundbreaking.
I'm not saying I'm the first to do it, but I'm going to run with it. I'm not going to go Washington Commanders. Not in my America.
We can call them the commies when they elect Kamala.
It's
I got a
good.
tweet I want to run back then.
All right.
Toodaloo.
Bye.